Yes, it's another Sunday. Good afternoon, Sunday afternoon. And today we're revisiting the past, the beginning, the foundation of our music with two big bad legends, Roy Panton and Charlie Organaire.
You know,
Yalla, man.
before we bring them in, because Charlie Organaire ready to go. We on the eve, we could say, of our 60th independent anniversary. And one of the things, God, that we always try to do here on Sunday Scoop is to sort of try to bridge the past
Right.
and the present. And I think these two guys we talking with today is the best representation of the creation of that bridge. And so we want to use the opportunity to welcome to Sunday Scoops once again
Roy Panton
and
and
Charlie
Charlie Organaire.
Organaire. Mr. Magic,
Yes, sir.
bring them in. You saw two of them look like two young boys.
Hey guys,
Where
what's
are
up?
you?
Hail brothers.
Yeah, man. When we tell Richie we have to go find a CD collection then.
Make I tell you something, right? We go read the yard, I can promise you that, right? And we're coming with a truck. And
Okay.
don't feel that you go and get away, Charlie, because I know it's hide your things, you just hide behind the screen you have there. But
Yeah,
guys,
man.
it's independence,
Well,
and
it's emancipation
well,
tomorrow.
yeah, tomorrow is
All of
Emancipation
the
Day,
islands in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
absolutely.
man.
But more so for us, we wanna just 60 years is a whole heap of time in anybody's life, and even for a country, 60 years is a lot of time. You guys represent the foundation of Jamaica's music, and it's just a thrill that you are still here, and we wish you continued good health, long life, so we can share some of these memories. And the purpose of having this show today is to do that revisitation, taking us back down memory lane. Of course, we don't need no whole heap of introduction here. God always have a pile of stuff lined up
Yeah, and the
because
one that I have lined up right now is the taking you back 60 years, Millie Girl with Owen Gray.
all right. Well, let the music do the talking.
Yes, that was We'll Meet, Roy Panton and Millie Small, and before that we heard Millie Girl, Owen Gray, both songs produced and recorded in 1962.
1962, a seminal year, independence year. The country decided, and see the man who produced all the magic. We finally get him to come on the thing. That is Mr. Magic, gentlemen.
Good evening, gentlemen.
What, you guys hearing us?
Loud and clear.
Okay, good. So yeah, I'm wanting to get Magic on because this is a nice legacy program, gentlemen. You guys represent a massive part of the history of the music. I just believe that we have not done enough justice to the history of our music, and our little group here at Sunday Scoops. That is what we're trying to ensure, that we right the wrongs, if you will, and help to correct some of the misconceptions that are out there, and literally just put it down as part of the history of our music.
And Richie, between both of them have over 100 songs.
There you go. We
It's a
get
massive catalog.
And you have to remember this that Charlie play and practically every artist music because
Yeah.
in the 60s, if you don't have Charlie on your record, you have no music at all. Two musicians that was prominent, Lester Sterling and Charlie Organaire. Everybody want that song.
There you go.
I would say 90% of my songs have Charlie on it.
Well, what else can we say? Somebody made that comment a long time ago that if Charlie Organaire never play for your music, you never
never
do a
It's in
song
the
in
Roy
Jamaica.
Panton beat, man.
No, but I've heard it outside of Rye.
That's
I've heard that too. And in fact, the little documentation that is out there says the same thing. But I don't want you to sit down there with so much humility, Charlie, because you're not going to get away with that today.
That's all right.
But in the 1960s, you guys started playing. Let me address this to Charlie first. You started when? What year, Charlie?
60.
1960.
Yeah.
And yourself, Rye?
59.
What? Yeah.
59, late 59, because when I started, Bobby Guinier, the senior,
Yes.
and Rico was still in Jamaica. And the first time in the studio was for Duke Reed.
Right.
And that was late 59, and it was Boogie Woogie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only song I remember. Well, it was two sides. And Stranger wrote them. Adam and Eve and Freedom Land. And that's the song Duke Reed called Come On Hold My Hand, because that line is in the song. But the name of the song really supposed to be Freedom Land.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the two first songs that I recorded. First time in a studio.
I know, knowing God, he would have doing his magic. But while we're looking at that, 1959, 1960, where were you recording? Where was the studio?
Federal
That was Federal.
studio.
And
then West Indies. Federal and then West Indies.
West Indies was West Indies Records. That's Siaga's thing.
Yeah. Yes, Siaga.
Tell me about it, guys, between both of you. Siaga has had a strong footprint, if you will. Some people say he gave it to himself, others that he earned it. You guys were there. Tell me individually Siaga's role and the importance of his role in the music at the time.
Well, Higgs and Wilson, Omanio and all those songs,
Right.
those were produced by Siaga.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Prince Buster had a lot to do with also helping him to produce some of his music back in those days. Right.
This is helping Siaga.
Yeah, man. Siaga was, Prince Buster was a part of that too. Prince Buster was early in producing stuff, even before he started his own recordings.
Yeah, that I recognize. In fact,
Duke Reed and all of that too. Yeah.
Yeah, from Coxon.
He seemed to have had some relationship with Duke Reed prior to his relationships with Coxon.
Yeah.
Right.
But Siaga came into the business. He established West Indies Records Limited, and but he was recording most of his music was at Federal, isn't it?
No, he recorded at the studio, but he never have a pressing plant. The pressing plant was at Federal.
Okay, that is the difference.
Yeah, that's where they make the stamper.
Now, at the time, though, the music 1962, well, the early 60s, late 50s, 60s, the music was being produced for what? Replay or resale? What was the primary focus?
For sale.
Resale.
Because 1962, the music was already hot all over the island,
Mm-hmm.
Because you have Monty Morris, he was popular then with the nursery rhyme songs.
Humpty Dumpty.
Roy was popular. Roy and Millie, 62.
Yeah.
We
Blues Busters.
Blues Busters. Everybody was pretty much established at that time.
Yeah. Alton Ellis. Alton and Eddie.
Everybody was established.
Yeah.
62 was the music was at its peak.
Yeah. Ska.
What was the sound though? The sound was ska, or was it blues and
It was
R&B?
Ska, man.
It all started with ska. I mean, like I said the last time, the Theophilus Beckford, because he was pretty much the guy that was playing on Afterbeat.
Yeah.
And he played on most of those records. There was also a guy named Richard Ace also in the studio at the time.
Right.
And Jerry, originally drum bagel.
Yeah.
And there was a bass player named Blues.
Yeah.
You had another guy named Cluet Johnson.
Cluet,
but
yeah.
before it really get into the ska with Cluet and all of them, because it was a little more rhythm and blues before. But then,
yeah,
eventually with people like Prince Buster and Monty Morris and Derek Morgan, because you can't leave those people out. And Roy Panton.
Sax player name again, Charlie. Heavy sax player. Sax player. Eh? The saxophone player, the heavy saxophone player.
Oh, man. And then the two saxophone, we call them ribs.
Ribs, Stanley
Notice.
Stanley. Ribs,
Stanley Notice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell you what. Let us give the audience a taste, because one of the things we're trying to do is apart from the education, is to bring the to sort of throw some reflection back on the music, so that people get a good idea what the sound was like of the period. And we're
1950. Yeah, we gave
these songs bring back memories, man.
Sammy Dead,
bring back.
Solomon
I remember.
Strongman
this last one you play. This last one you play. A little more oil in my lamp.
Yeah.
It was everybody in the studio at the time. I think it was Columbia, eh, Charlie? We did it for Columbia or Atlantic, one of them.
Yes.
I think it was Columbia. Federal, that time Federal expand. 14 tracks or something like that. That was because we didn't have the band with us. Just your phone. I don't think we had the band.
I was not that one.
No, the band was
not
here.
that one there.
Yeah, but Monty was the lead, and I can remember some of the singers. I don't remember all of them, but myself and Yvonne was there. Blues Busters, a whole lot of singers as the chorus, right? I tell you one song you left out for Monty, In and Out the Window.
Go.
And I tell you, if you look at the record, In and Out the Window, you'll see it says Monty and Roy. I wasn't in it, but it said Monty and Roy. You know why? Because Monty and Roy was together prior to In and Out the Window.
Okay.
So they carry on Monty and Roy and In and Out the Window. And everybody always asks me, what part you singing it? I said, I didn't sing in it. But Monty and I just played up.
The question I wanted to go ahead, Roy. Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah.
Those songs that you just played, the dance halls, people gone crazy, man.
Well, that was
about legs now, okay?
That's a question, Roy. Guys, that's a question I was about to pose as you came in. Because I'm trying to figure out, and I want you to set that tone for the listeners and the viewers. A dance, a 1962 dance, and all these songs now mashing up the place. What is the atmosphere like when these songs drop on a turntable, and how the DJ get a chance to switch from one song? Because all of these songs are big hits. Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Well,
okay,
originally, you have people like, what the one with Duke Reed name again, right? Cottons, right? They have one turntable.
Yeah.
So what they do, they talk in between, and this is how the toasting came in.
Right.
So, well, they're changing the record. They talk on, all this toast, make all these different toasts and back to the next record. But the thing I was saying, so you have the people inside the dance and are throwing down legs, and outside the dance, you have another group outside the dance going crazy,
on the sidewalks,
competing against each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That
tell
was
me
a
now,
big
this is
deal.
a dance where you hang up a steel on in the mango tree or the ackee tree, eh?
Yeah.
Or upon the
Well, it
light
wasn't
post.
necessarily a ackee tree or a mango tree, just a tree.
Any kind of tree, yeah.
Any
Yeah.
kind of tree.
Yeah.
And then you have the dance floor with the center of the dance floor is where the big dancer them go and drop them legs.
I want to give the
Right.
listeners a feel of exactly
But
what they're talking
then you have
about.
the guys who really probably can't afford to pay to go in the dance.
Right.
Because that's where you find the better dancers on the outside.
And the outside, oh my God.
Right, that's where you find the better dancers. So you will see a big crowd, and inside the middle of that crowd, man, oh man, they're getting down, and then the next guys and the next guys, and that's how it was, man.
Tuareg Crescent was famous for that with bells. When bells play,
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you about a place called Sand Lane.
Yeah.
King Edwards used to play at
King
Sand Lane.
Edwards.
Yeah.
From Maxwell, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Boogie in My Bones, Laurel Aitken. I played Milk Lane.
Yeah.
Beeston Street Shuffle.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Boogie
Tune.
Woogie. Boogie Woogie.
Yeah, Shuffling Jug and Beeston Street Riff.
You
Also
talk
known as
about
5 minutes.
boogie woogie because again the music. I made a point earlier that the music didn't stop one place and then another set of music picked up. It was a case where the music was it basically coexisted. So a lot of what we were getting in that early 1960s, 60, 61, right into 1962, you were getting some blues, you were getting a lot of jazz, and then ultimately that transferred itself into what became known as what we now call ska.
Right.
But just wanna get the feel from you guys. You were there, and so just to sort of bring the listeners up to speed, by you creating that kind of atmosphere. I mean, all the sound systems were now out and about and playing all of these big tunes. We know about Coxsone and we know about Trojan, but there were a lot of other sound systems in the wings that were coming through. And as you pointed out, Charlie, you were now, you moved into a point where you were also now out there selling your own records.
Right.
I want to ask you as well, what was your own experience at the time in terms of the development now of a retail market for record and how that was playing out in the sound system era?
In the early 60s, because I got out of it in about 67, because prior to that, I would say up until no, sorry about that. I got out of it in 65 because that's when I joined Tommy Supersonics, and I left Jamaica. I left Jamaica 65 October, and I joined the band Supersonics when it just formed in the summer of 65 because that's when Scatterlights broke up, and Tommy formed Supersonics, and we were the resident band at the Club Havana.
Hold on 1 second there, Roy, because we lost you a little bit where your audio went for a minute. You say you left the business 65.
In 65, I left Jamaica in 65, and I was away for just over a year.
Right.
And then when I went back in 66, I joined up with Las Caballeros, Johnson Drive-In.
I was there.
Las Caballeros. You remember Las Caballeros, Charlie?
I was
Sammy
there.
Ismay was the band leader at the time. And people like Carl Bryan was in the band. Calypso Joe played the bongo.
Madden
Eh?
was in the band.
Who's
Madden the
Madden?
trumpeter was in the band.
Madden trumpeter. He plays trumpet.
Yeah.
Right? But
That's David Madden.
Charlie can tell you, music can move from band to band to band. Right. You know, that's how it was. You know.
Let me help me out here. Help me out here. Because in the time, it was these famous night spots. We talk about them: the Johnson's Drive-In, the Silver Slipper, the Glass Bucket, etc. But the music was being played by a live band, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So
yeah, because like I said, the resident band, we used to play, I think, 5 nights a week, if I remember correctly, at the Club Havana. That's the first time I became a band vocalist, so to speak, an MC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I joined, because when Scatterlights broke up, they were at Beaumont, and I was there tonight. And Tommy said to me, come and check me out. Tommy used to live off Winwood Road or Rockford.
Right.
Right? And Tommy said, come and check me out. And I went.
Slip that road.
Yeah, Slip that road, right. And I guess Tommy had the iron in fire because as you all know, Scatterlights had a lot of individual superstars, right? And
almost everybody was a superstar.
They weren't well disciplined.
Right. Yes, that is a fact.
Let me tell you the truth, they weren't well disciplined. Because, you know, in a band, when the band leader go on stage and start to fiddle his instrument, whether it's a saxophone, keyboard, or whatever, it's a sign for everybody to drift back to the bandstand. And sometimes they have to play with 1 or 2 members.
Because them going to do their own thing.
But remember the Scatterlight, the name Scatterlight was when the band started to play live.
Yeah.
Because originally it wasn't the rhythm, the drummer was different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was Theophilus Beckford's drum bagel, it's blues.
Yeah.
It's Ribs, Campbell,
Jerry,
Bobby Brooks.
Yeah.
Raymond Harper.
You remember this guy on saxophone? Oh man.
Carl Bryan.
Yeah, Carl Bryan. Alto.
Yeah, when them called nothing jaggy. Yeah, the other alto sax player.
Edley
Bennett, right?
Edley Bennett.
That's what him called Deadly Headley.
Yeah, right.
Deadly Headley or nothing jaggy.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of them said that.
Famous solo, Dancing Mood. Dancing Mood is
right.
Famous solo.
Yeah, but so what happened? Because I think at the time when I was in the studio, Tommy McCook was still in Nassau.
Right, Roland was the guy that we knew.
Right, so Tommy came 1962, and that's when him and Lloyd Nibs joined up.
Because Lloyd Nibs was on the North Coast, right?
No, Tommy was in the Bahamas.
Yeah, Tommy was in the Bahamas, but I think Lloyd was on the North Coast.
Right. So then when they came in, then that's when the music kind of shifted a little because like Money Can't Buy Life and all those, that was drum bagel. Right.
All through those.
Never was drum bagel.
Yeah.
You know, and all those tunes were drum bagel.
Ruler, drum bagel. You know?
Right. So you can hear the difference in the beat, you know. Right.
Well, you made a. I wanna throw something in the conversation here, guys.
Right.
Because Scatterlights, basically, as you pointed out, Charlie, Scatterlights really was formed, or the name Scatterlights was stuck onto them when they became a road band, a traveling band.
Right, but that's when the name Scatterlight started.
Right, and also...
So it was who in that band at the time
was called the Scatterlights. Because the same musicians...
You, Malcolm, and people like those that were playing before, they weren't called the Scatterlights.
No.
Right. But they also told... A lot of these musicians were rotating between Duke Reed, Coxsone to some extent. In other words, they
Prince
were all
Buster,
they
Randy's,
played for
Beverly.
everybody.
Yeah.
Beverly's, Randy's, Duke Reed, King Edwards.
King Edwards. Even a smart guy. They play.
Highlight.
Bells, Wild.
Highlight.
Yeah.
Highlight was a prominent guy too at the time. Yeah.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Don Drummond. How good was Don Drummond?
Number 3 in the world.
If you're asking me, Sarah Vance.
Number 3 in the world.
When Sarah Vance heard him, she said he reminded her of a guy named Frank Rosolino, an Italian saxophonist. Frank Rosolino. You know why?
You mean trombonist?
Yeah, I mean trombonist.
Trombonist, right.
Yeah. Don Drummond was so smooth with the trombone. His trombone, as a slide trombone, sound like a valve trombone. That's how smooth he was.
Okay. The number 2, the number 1 trombone was
J.J. Johnson. Yeah.
Right. Then K.Y.
K.Y. then. Yeah.
And then they said Don was number 3.
Number 3
we had a lot of
in the
great
world.
horn players.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of great horn players in Jamaica, you know. We had people that wasn't even into the ska and reggae. That because Jamaica was highly influenced by jazz. Jamaica musicians were highly influenced by jazz.
Yeah. We had some great ones.
And especially horn.
Cecil Lloyd. Jackie with Leslie.
Oh, highly influenced by jazz. So this is why when they play all the boogie woogie and all that, and you listen to people like Dizzy Johnny, Roland Alfonso, Tommy McCook, and all these people, that's jazz musicians you're listening to. And I learned that at one time, the number 3 sax horn players in the world were Jamaicans.
Well, the number one guitar player, too, if I'm not mistaken, would have been Ernest Ranglin, number one guitar player in the world, and
right.
again, Jamaica.
And the horn players, they said, because they're so much great musicians come out of Jamaica, man.
Were before the ska era. And so one of the point we want to make with a program like this, and this is what makes this such an important legacy program. Long before ska, Jamaicans were recording music and entertaining themselves with our own produced work. Some of it influenced by the R&B and the blues coming from North America. But that music, we were producing it. And we have kind of thrown away a lot of that music, which Garth has basically resuscitated. And bringing you guys here helps to validate the work of the musicians who played on some of these songs.
Because like you said, before that, Larry Late King he was called Cubana because he was a Calypsonian.
Yeah, because he's from Cuba.
Right. And he used to sing the mento music.
Charlie, you remember Lascelles Perkins?
And Lascelles Perkins, yeah.
That's another guy from way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and he's still alive. He's still alive.
So many.
I have as a project to try to reach out to these guys as much as we can, and see if we can bring them onto the team.
Hi there. If you enjoyed that clip, go on over to our website at yaawdmedia.com, where you can watch the entire broadcast at your leisure. And while you're there, why don't you check out our other reggae music features? And before you leave, pick up some of our Jamaican reggae merchandise, and hey, don't forget to tell your friends.